welcome to your retirement dinner. Before you go, we have a few people who have some things to say to you, so sit back, relax, and enjoy.
How long have I known Bobby O? It's got to be at least a dozen years now or more. Wow. What are my favorite memories with you? Definitely yoga, swimming dragon, and of course the Enlightenment field trips. We had some pretty big adventures there. But the best probably is jumping off the bus and running as fast as we can to get to our Italian spot. That's the best. I'll always remember that. Thanks, Bobby. Good luck to you.
I've had the pleasure of knowing Bob Owen for 9 years, beginning when he was on my interview committee. My favorite memory of Bob isn't really one memory. It's really just every department meeting with him and all of his antics and entertainment that goes with it.
So Bobby O and I go back to junior year in high school. I think you too, right, Greg? A little U.S. history back in 2000, 99, 2000. And Mr. Owen used to just yell at me all the time because I used to stare out the window and daydream about all sorts of good stuff, in high school days. And we just finished our 11th year as colleagues now. He's been a great mentor and a friend, and, somebody I always can complain to about shoveling driveways, yard work, all that good stuff. We're gonna miss you, Bobby O.
Bob Owen taught me how to be a man. I'm gonna miss you, Bob. See yous.
See yous.
I have known Bob for 20 years, and I am going to miss his vivacious energy and all the laughs over that time. He would make fun of me because I taught this unit on the Titanic. He's like, the ship sinks! And I was like, I love this story. I love that man.
All right, so I've known Bob for 20 years, about. Trying to constantly avoid him trying to give me a hug because I have a personal bubble that he invades all the time.
So I have had the privilege of knowing Bob Owen since I was a junior in high school, so that would be 2005, so is that 14 years? My favorite memory of Mr. Owen as a teacher, and I tell this to a lot of my classes, the very first day of AP US History, I showed up and I cried because I didn't want to be in the class anymore because I had procrastinated my summer work. I said, I really want to drop this class. I don't think I can do it. And he said, no. And then for every test that we had for the rest of the year, he'd come over with a box of tissues and he put it on my desk and I got a 4 on the exam. So thanks, Mr. Owen.
Hi, Bob. I've known Mr. Owen for the past 7 years, but it's been the past 6 years that I really got to know him when I moved upstairs and took over Mr. Turk's old room. As some people know, I can take saving the world, teaching adolescents, really seriously and intensely sometimes, and Bob calms me down.
I've been working with Bob for the last 10 years. There's a lot of things I'm going to miss about Mr. Owen in that corner room. Probably the thing I'll miss the most is his words of encouragement as I tried to get up and down the stairs for all 3 of my pregnancies.
I've known Bob, Uncle Bobby, for 21 years. And if I had to pick a favorite moment, I'm really torn between his kissing my neck over the table at Pippa's and going on the comparative religions field trip, which was a really awesome experience, and I thank you for that.
I've been working with Bob for the past 10 years, and I affectionately refer to him as my work dad. I'm gonna miss his jubilant personality, his gregarious nature, and definitely him coming in and talking to my students about the civil rights movement and the important role that his dad played in the Mississippi burning case. He's just such a wonderful educator.
So Bob, I think we've worked together for about 35 years, and probably the thing I'll miss most about you is your volcanic sneeze and the way you hooted and howled every time your kids did something. Good luck to you.
I'm going to miss the most about you, Bob, is your amazing sense of humor, your crazy facial expressions, your broad shoulders, and strong posture.
I've known Bob Owen for almost 7 years. I've only known him academically, but I wish I knew him biblically. And it's been quite a 7 years, I'll say that.
One of my favorite memories with Mr. Owen is him showing me the swimming dragon, doing Qigong with him in his room.
So I've known Bob for 21 years now. We had talked a little bit in the hallway, met each other one day, and So on a Friday, he asked me for my phone number. So I gave it to him thinking, hey, we're gonna do something really fun, hang out. Saturday morning, he's like, hey, what are you doing today? And of course I answered, nothing. And then that son of a bitch asked me to come over to his house to shingle his roof. I spent that whole Saturday with him and Mr. Roy carrying bundles of shingles up on his roof. I barely knew the guy. And
so I have had the pleasure of knowing Bob Owen for all of my 19 years here at Bethel High School. Though I feel like we're souls who've known each other much longer, since the dawn of time, most likely. I just don't have any proof of that. I have a couple of really fond memories of Bob Owen. Always makes fun of the art teachers, and when we see him in the hallway, he does this, which is his hand signal that all we do is finger paint in our classes, and that's what we teach. Meetings where Bob either says something totally inappropriate under his breath and we all laugh, or he just gets up and leaves because he's bored, and we all wish we could do that. So I can't wait to see who takes over that role.
I've known Bob Owen for 19 years. He was one of the first teachers to call me professor. I thought it was a compliment. I'm not sure. Favorite memory of Bob is when, I don't know if he won Teacher of the Year or something, but he received an award. And Pat Constantino was congratulating him, and she said, my God, he's gorgeous. And we all tease Bob so much, and we're telling him to take one for the team. It was hysterical.
Hey Bob, what's going on, Mr. O? I have known you since I was, I'm gonna say a young man, maybe 14 years old. So that's going back maybe 4 years, because I'm eternally 18. And you gotta be maybe 32 at the top. Bob, it's just always a smile. Every time we see you, we all know that's why we love you, because you are the human smile. Anything to do with good vibes and just feeling good, you're the man. And I've known you for a long time. And I think your first year of teaching was when I was in high school. So that's a long time though, Bob. So anyway, just looking forward to more beers, bud. Talk to you soon.
So I have known Bob Owen for either 31, 24, or 20 years, depending how you want to see it. He started in 1985. I was a senior in 86, so I knew he was there. I started teaching here, I believe, in 93, so I know Bob in that sense of 24, but maybe I know him best from 20 years of Monday Night Tennis, where he'll probably tell you he kicks my ass all the time, but I'll tell you that's not always accurate. I could talk about when I worked for shoes at his house, and he can explain that one to you later. I think I'll go with how Bob got one of his many nicknames, which is called Hurricane Bob. We were playing cards at Mr. Roy's house. We were all sitting at a round table, just a few beers, just a few. And Bob steps up to go to the bathroom. He walks in the bathroom. 10 minutes later, he comes out. His tie is over here. His shirt is unbuttoned like this. His hair is a mess, and he's like, I gotta go home. And he walks out and he leaves. And that is the story of how Hurricane Bob started.
I want to wish you a lot of luck, Bob, in your retirement, and I hope to see you at spin class on Sundays in your spandex.
So I have known Bob since I started teaching here in Bethel in the year 2000, so that'll be 19 long years that I have known him. And I think what I'll miss most about Bob is his constant derailing of all of my meetings and department time. And also his silent cues about when whatever we were talking about was getting too boring, because he would get up and start walking around and leave the room. That would tell me that we needed to switch gears. So I'm gonna miss his silent communication with me that helped me.
I've known Bob for 15 years since I started teaching in 2005. I really tried to think of a favorite memory for him. So instead, I kind of thought about how Bob has made me feel kind of in the department. Bob is the kind of guy that when he enters a room, like everything is better. He brings wit and caring, and just kind of, that when you're talking to him, he is totally engaged in what you're doing, and he makes both students and colleagues feel that way.
I've known Bob for over
17 years. And other than seeing his gorgeous blue eyes every day at work now for the last 6 years, one of my fondest memories is when he joined us at the Critty dinner table, and we invited him over, and he nicknamed my son Big Head, because apparently he has an abnormally large head for a young boy.
Hey Bobby O, I've known you for 17 years since I started teaching here, and it's been real. My best memory was when you were my neighbor before we were going renovations, and you had your beautiful sneeze, and every morning you told me that math sucks, which I just had to follow up with history's boring. So
I've known Bob 21 years, and some of my favorite memories include some of the flirtations that we've had over the years, from the yeah baby. What I wish for you in your retirement is that you not only keep living your dharma, but you keep spreading your dharma.
Waiting for suggestions. He's so nervous, avoiding all the questions. His lips are dry.
Oh my god, hang on. He was born in the 50s.
Sitting under some beautiful flowery leafy tree with the Buddha with his big old head getting enlightened.
Hold on, I think. He's in, I don't get the premise.
I like weirdly imagine him as like a caveman. Maybe it's like the loincloth thing going on, or maybe it's because he's got that kind of like rugged handsomeness.
I don't think it matters the time in history. It would be some type of brothel situation.
See him at the Constitutional Convention, the founding of the country. And I can picture all these really heavyweight thinkers, you know, talking about how we should have checks and balances and you know, make sure that the government will function for the next, you know, who knows how many centuries. You can picture Bob standing up and, you know, straightening out his jacket, maybe fixing his wig, and then birthing himself.
Would he be like a Woodstock boy, or no?
Early 80s, you know, having the time of his life, maybe not remembering a thing, wearing some bike shorts and or a white Miami Vice blazer.
I think Bob probably definitely would have been a Woodstock guy, hanging out on the fields.
Yes, I would find Bob Owen sitting next to Andrew Jackson in the kitchen cabinet, working hard.
A dog and beer.
Well, I need chocolate. I don't know about Bob. It's just that fire, right? And rope. And another.
I don't want to say what popped in my head.
We're stuck on an island with Bobby O. With Bobby O. What do we need? Nothing, baby.
Probably he wouldn't be there because he would have left the room because he would be too antsy.
So Bobby O in a meeting would say something like, "Yeah, baby."
In a meeting, Bob will be wandering about the room aimlessly, seemingly not listening, but he's listening. But it may seem very distracting because you turn around and there's Bob with his back to you, looking out the window or wandering around or unclogging a sink.
Child, the first person that comes to mind is Whitney Houston, because you are everything that Whitney embodied in her songs. And the second one, I'm going to say Andy Gibb. Whitney Houston and Andy Gibb.
Bob Owen is the love child of...
Fred Flintstone and Betty Rubble. Come on, you know you were thinking it.
Mae West and Ganesh.
Bette Midler, and I would have to say Al Bebo.
Robin Williams and Buddha.
Mel Gibson and Susan Sarandon.
Oh, this is funny. He would be, all right, so think of
maybe like Aretha Franklin
and Drew Carey.
I'd have to say Macho Man Randy Savage and Mother Teresa.
of it. The Dalai Lama and Beyonce.
So Mr. DJ.
I have known Bob for 14 years. 12. 5.
Do you have one? I have one.
Well, it's not really a memory.
So the memory that I have of Bob is that whenever I was in the lunchroom, the whole lunchroom would be just hysterically laughing over all of his stories.
My best memory of Bob, which will really embarrass him, is his hot legs. When he was riding his bike, and I noticed him driving through the park, and he's been embarrassed ever since, with his bicycle shorts on.
Never embarrassed. My memory of Bob is every morning he comes in and he calls us ladies, which is the nicest thing we'll hear all day. Do I say the two people?
Yes.
Just their names in the
Yes.
building here?
No. Wait, I don't like this question.
I don't
Are
know.
we all three of us together?
All right, do we have to have two?
Bebo and Rosemary Pardalis.
Oh, his strong legs to carry me around the island, and alcohol.
I was gonna say alcohol. You took mine.
Everybody swinging, dancing to the music. Yeah, on the radio, bringing way down now.
Bye, Mr. Owen. Namaste.
Everybody swinging, dancing to the music. On the radio, we're having a party. Everybody swinging, oh yeah, dancing to the music. Where is it? On the radio. Just 2 more times. We're having a party. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music. Oh yeah, on the radio. We're having a party. Everybody swinging, dancing to the music. Yeah, on the radio. Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much from Ronnie Wood, myself, and all the band. We thoroughly enjoyed it.